Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Jared Lee, and I'm joined, as usual, by my lovely wife, Jamie Lee. So, Jamie, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Jared. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Somehow it's almost Christmas. Not really sure how. I know we say this a lot about time, but I seriously am just, this whole year seems to have flown by, and it's now almost Christmas, which I love Christmas, and it's actually been a little cool here. Not cold, but cooler.
So it feels very like Christmas time-ish here.
Well,
in Florida.
I'm like today I was in the garage, and thank you to all you guys, but I've been printing shirts a lot out there, and so I'm wearing a hoodie and sweatpants in the garage doing stuff, and it's appropriate. Like I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not like freezing, but a hoodie's needed, so I like that weather.
Like I always said, winter here is like fall in Missouri.
Usually, I mean, it's still there's days where it'll be warm, but it's been nice, and the children are getting all excited. And,
yes, we're getting a lot of anxious excitement going on for Christmas coming, and it's exciting doing Christmas with young children. So that's exciting with the presents and the Christmas morning and all those traditions we do. So it's amazing. I love it.
And it'll be nice this year because we did Christmas in Missouri for Thanksgiving. So we're not, so usually, on Christmas, like either the next day or 2 days later, we're driving, 16 plus hours. And this year we're not doing that. And your parents are here. So it's kind of nice. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to, not that there's ever a week off, I should say. I don't know if I've had a week off actually in I don't know. It's been a while, but it'd be kind of nice to just maybe chill for that week and kind of hang out. Cause I feel like it's always, when it's always great spending Christmas with our family, but it's like you're usually at my brother's house and there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm kind of looking forward to just maybe watching some Christmas movies and relaxing and just doing a lot of stuff I don't normally do.
Yeah, for sure. Same.
I thought you had more to add.
Nope,
Okay.
I have nothing else to add.
Okay.
Just I ditto it everything you said.
All right. Well, we're not going to just talk about Christmas, although this will be our last show of the year. We won't have any more episodes until the new year. So that's just because, A, we want a little bit of a break, and B, what we found is usually people are doing things and they don't really listen as much. So
yeah.
We're all just going to take a vacation. Not a vacation. We're just going to take a break. I don't know. But we will be back in 24, of course. And but today we are going to talk about, we ate at the newest restaurant on Disney property, which is Sommerhus on the Lake.
It's not Hus.
Well, I feel like
it's not German.
I feel like it should be.
No.
We're going to talk about our experience there, which is a new restaurant over at Disney Springs. And then we're just going to talk about, I guess you call it the top news stories or our favorite things that happened at Disney World.
Yes.
Yeah, in 2023. Because this is one of those episodes, if you're like a sitcom in the 90s, is when, Wayne's World would be like, diddle-doo, diddle-doo, and you go into the past and talk about, like, remember when. I always hated those episodes, but I get why they did them. They probably just.
Well, it's I remember this. I already know.
Well, and it's like, if you think back in the day, they had like 50 episodes in a season. So at some point, they're just like, I don't know, just look back on the other ones. And you're like, okay, that's fine. It's easier to film. So that is what we're going to do today. But before we get to, it's going to be a little bit different. We don't really have any news to talk about, per se.
Per se, no. Just the review and the top news.
So instead of before we get to the news, before we get to our review, if you're watching us on YouTube, we'd ask you to please like this video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're listening to us on a regular podcast form, which is totally fine, whichever way you want, we'd please ask you to just leave us a review. And, well, I guess, leave us a review and subscribe to the channel. You leave a review on podcasts as well. I kind of forget about that. And for those of you that left a review a few weeks ago, and did the whole shirt thing, your shirt will be on its way to you now that hopefully we've got this big Christmas push of shirts printed out of the way. So that will be coming to you as well. And if you would like even more content, you should look at joining Club 32, which is basically our own version of our Patreon, where we have additional content like Cool Kids Kitchen, which is a cooking live stream we do once a month. We have the Club 32 Speakeasy. There is the Club 32 show, which every Tuesday we just do a live stream with all the members and hang out and chat about whatever. Sometimes it's about parks, and sometimes, like last night, we talked about old people names that we really liked. It was a good conversation.
It's a horrible way to say it. We
No.
talked about like traditionally old fashioned names.
Well, okay. And these names you don't really hear as much. Like I remember talking about how I used to always hear Cecil when I was a kid, and you don't really hear that as much. But anyways, it's always a good time chatting in there. We have a private Facebook group, private Discord. You get 20% off of CTM apparel and 1901 Candle Company products year round. And a lot more stuff that I just can't think of off the top of my head. So if you want to join there, you can go to ctmvip.com, and we have monthly or yearly options, and you can even do a free trial if you'd like as well. So we'll probably doing a couple of streams here and there during the little break here, and you get behind the scenes stuff. We get to interact a little bit more in Club 32 than the regular groups and things like that. So again, ctmvip.com is where you go for that. So all right, well, let's get to our review of Summer House on the Lake. Now, this is the brand new restaurant over in Disney Springs, located on the west side of Disney Springs, near the food truck area and across from the AMC Theater. So that's where this restaurant is.
Yes. So this is actually the fourth location of the Summer House restaurants. You can find the other three, one in Las Vegas, one in Chicago, and one in Maryland. And they're all Summer House something. So there's Summer House Santa Monica. There's Summer House North Bethesda, I think. And then there's Summer House, I think just Summer House, and then Summer House on the Lake. So this is the only on the lake location.
Now, I will say, when we first read about this restaurant, I said, I believe this is more lake adjacent. And I can say, after going there, that's accurate. It's not really on the lake per se. It's near it.
It's near it. It's next to it.
Just saying, my only critique really about it is well, I shouldn't say only, but my main critique about location-wise, just purely on the face, is if you knew somebody that was like, oh, let's go, I have a house on the lake, you might be like, well, kind of. But I get it. That's a small thing. But that is a unique thing. This is the only summer house on the lake. So we're going to talk about, obviously, the food. We had some food stuff here. They also have a cookie bar. And then what we'll hit first is sort of the aesthetics or the vibe of this place.
Oh, this place is a vibe.
I will say I love the whole vibe and feel of this place. I really do. It reminds me of it's very 90s.
Okay, so explain what you mean by that.
What I mean by that is, and it reminds me, like they had wicker elements to it. So if everyone remembers in the 90s, like wicker chairs, like a lot of things were made of wicker. And here they had like wicker sort of like, they'd have the light fixtures, and the light fixtures were made of wicker, but it was very like subtle. And
it's modern. The way it is modern.
It's like a modern 90s. Yes. And you said it best too. It's almost like a Golden Girls vibe to it.
It's like they took a Golden Girls house and took out all the color and just left like white and beige and like natural wood kind of colors.
It's very like off whites and things. But yeah, so it's probably like very much like a California, again, 90s beach vibe. I liked it a lot. I really do. I thought like the vibe of it, they had, the way in which like all the staff, well, I should say you could tell the upper management, which most of the women I saw in there, they were wearing like dresses, not fancy, but like almost summer dresses. And the waiters and waitresses wearing like jeans. Mm-hmm. So they kind of had this like laid back.
It's very laid back. It's very chill, light, bright, airy. Yeah. Very like, it felt like very open.
I think airy is the way to put that.
Yeah.
Airy, because they even had like a sunlight up top.
Yeah.
Which honestly, the house,
giant tree.
The house growing up in, like I remember my parents put in like sunlights, and I remember that was a thing in the 90s more. So immediately it was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But
yeah,
definitely. So the vibe of this place, love. From the moment we walked in, the music that played, it's almost like how I like what Boathouse, how it has like, you call it yacht rock. I just say it's boat music. This is very much like 90s vibe music. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I really enjoyed that. They got some stuff on the wall that's like subtle. But yeah, well, and you had a good point about what it kind of reminded you of design wise.
I said it looked kind of like Joanna Gaines designed it. But it's, again, very like a white, off-white, beige, natural colors, natural wood tones. There are beams across the ceiling, wicker chairs, wicker fixtures. But it felt like a very, very fancy. It felt upscale and it felt modern, but it just like if you put it into the 90s, you'd be like, okay, it belongs here too.
It also felt like there could have been an episode like, you remember this show, The OC? I feel like that this would have been a place they would have gone to.
Oh, California for sure. Yeah.
Like it was. Yeah. You're right. It had it didn't feel fancy, but it definitely felt. It didn't feel like super casual. It was like almost like a upscale casual. I guess the way I would kind of.
This is very much a girls' brunch, girls' weekend, having mimosas, hanging out kind of thing. Like it feels very much like a girls' weekend.
Yes, I would agree. And originally we were going to do this for brunch. And to me, this restaurant screams brunch when you're in here.
Brunch.
Like I feel like I feel like dudes maybe go here to have a bro brunch date or something.
Brunch.
You never
know. Absolutely.
But we didn't do that because we ended up only staying one night because there was a weird tropical storm-like thing that came through, and Saturday was just going to be rainy all over Florida. We're like, well, let's just go home Friday, which is true because so we're like, oh, let's just go home Friday, and so we moved it to Thursday, but we had like lunch there.
It was opening day too, by the way. I guess we should mention
it was opening day.
It was opening day.
But I definitely want to try this place for brunch because the brunch menu looked great. So, but we did have lunch here and not brunch, I will say. But
should we talk about the rooms?
I was going to say, let's go over the lay of it and then we'll get into the food.
So when you first walk in, it's kind of set up to where you can see the patio seating or like outdoor seating. And there's like two sections of that. There's one section that's the patio, then there's another section that's off to the side, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And it actually opens up into the palm room, and the palm room is basically where the first bar is. There's some seating inside. There's like some high top tables, regular size tables, and then you've got the cookie bar to the left over there, and then on the next room is the sunroom, and that's where we were, and that's all just regular tables and another bar in the back. You keep going and you're going to get to the back patio where you can see the water. And so there's a lot of, it's just very open, like very bright. Doesn't feel closed off at all. And it's kind of nice that way. Personally, I would have liked to have sat outside, but when we went, it was so windy that day.
Well, yeah, you had asked, like, do you want to sit outside? And I was like, same thing. I normally would because temperature-wise, it wasn't bad. It was just very windy.
So windy.
So we were like, well, and so it wasn't super slammed in here for being opening day. I mean, they were busy, but they weren't. There were definitely open tables. So I don't think getting a table here was that hard.
I don't think so. And if you didn't have a reservation, you could just go sit at the bar.
Yeah, and I say that right now. This very week, being Christmas and everything, it probably is slammed. Mm-hmm. And being a brand new restaurant, a lot of people maybe didn't know about it. So it wasn't super slammed because I think our reservation technically was for the outdoor patio.
I think it was confusing because Open Table said it only outdoor seating was available. And I was like, that doesn't seem right. And like, I talked to the hostess and she's like, oh no, that's just general. That's a glitch. I was like,
because we had to make the reservation through Open Table because it wasn't available to do it on the Disney app.
Right.
For whatever the reason is.
Right.
Anyway, so so that's the lay of the restaurant. And again, like the bar areas looked, I would love to go in here and just have some drinks. There's two bar areas. They both looked really cool to just, hang out in. And
they had some interesting drinks.
I'm imagining at night, this place would be pretty cool too. Because it's vibe feel of this place. Love.
Vibes
right off the bat,
the word.
liked it a lot. Yeah. All right, let's go over the menu and what we had here. So, like we said, this is lunch and dinner menu. Is it the same thing? Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. So a lot of this is going to be like a lot of salads and sandwiches, pasta. They did have pizza. Everything was, again, the menu was very like light and airy.
Yep. They have tacos. They have filet mignon, actually, fish, a little bit of seafood, like a little bit of everything, really. So that's kind of nice. It has a variety of stuff,
but it didn't have it wasn't one of those menus that was overwhelming. It had, I felt like the selection was just about right. Cause I think you run this problem too of some restaurants. And I can say for sure, the one that thinks off the top of my head is the Chocolate Emporium over at Universal. They have too much stuff on their menu.
Oh yeah.
It's just it's way too much stuff to choose from. And it makes me feel like they also don't do a lot of things well if there's just too much stuff. So I feel like the amount of things was about right. Like it all fit in as well. It seemed like, but
Yeah.
And then for brunch, it's sort of like I guess you call it like Cali Mex.
They call it Cali Mex.
Yeah. So you got like egg dishes, pancakes, waffles, sandwiches, salads, fish and chicken. You know, nothing that's like insane for brunch. Your typical brunch type of stuff.
No. And there are some dishes that I thought were pretty cool. We didn't get to try these, but I was like, I got to try these next time. So they have signature guacamole, and you can actually add crab to your guacamole, which I've never had.
I don't know if that would be good.
But that is an option. They also have truffle fries, which I heard are really good. Jalapeno cornbread, which sounds very good. And these cheesy dream puffs. These are all starters or, you know, pre-dinner things or pre-lunch things. So I do want to try some of these next time. But yeah, all of those sound really good. Really good.
I mean, I don't know about the crab and guacamole. It could be good.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't think to put those things together, but I mean,
Yeah.
I like crab. So.
And they can make a lot of the items on their menu gluten-free. So if that is something that you need or want to do, just ask your server and they can be able to like make it for you gluten-free, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They also have drinks, of course.
They have a lavender haze, which is a Taylor Swift song. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Okay. Coffees and cocktails, wine, etc. And then desserts we'll talk about in a minute.
Yes. So let's go over what we got and we can talk about it directly. So what did you get?
Okay, so I ordered the grilled tequila lime chicken tacos. And that's corn tortillas, crunchy slaw, salsa verde, and guacamole. And this was $19.95, and you get 3 tacos. Right off the bat, I'm going to say that this portion was very small for $20. You didn't get a lot of food.
I would agree.
They were good. The slaw didn't have much flavor. The chicken was, yes, it had the lime and it did have the flavor. I needed to put the salsa verde, like a lot of it, on my tacos because I felt like it just needed a little more flavor. Like, again, it was good, but I've had better. Like chicken
they didn't
tacos.
season the chicken enough.
I don't know. It just needed more flavor. Like, that, just in my opinion. It was very light and it was like a good lunch dish. But again, it needed more to it. It just wasn't enough food. I was not full.
I will say for $19.95, yeah, the portions were pretty small on that.
Yeah, I mean, it is a sit-down restaurant and it is less than $20. So I guess at like Disney standards, I don't know if that is good. I don't know. But
it's also changed to like, you know, we're not like a food-centric podcast. We talked about that before. So we really don't eat out that much. So I don't know, like I know portion sizes, they call it like shrinkflation, have like gone down. And so I don't know if that's a typical thing. I mean, obviously being at Disney, you're paying the, you know, I guess you call it the Disney tax, just a little bit more expensive.
But there was no sides.
Right. That was the thing. There was no
rice,
sides
beans,
with that
nothing.
and everything. Yeah. So that's very true.
That's kind of my vibe. That's my opinion on that.
That's your vibe?
That's my vibe. Again, I'm going to keep saying vibes.
We're going to say vibe a lot. You can play a drinking game. Every time we say vibe, you got to drink. My apologies for the next day. All right. I had the turkey stack. So I was kind of torn between what to get. And I almost went with like the chicken, then the kids. So when the kids got, I guess we'll about the kids real quick.
Okay.
Kids got crispy chicken fingers.
Max's.
Excuse me, Max's. I don't know who Max is, but they got theirs. So,
okay.
Which was natural chicken, choice of side, and had fresh berries. So this was like not really chicken tenders, more like fried chicken in pieces. And the reason I got my dish is because the kids were getting chicken, and I was like, okay, I'll try this, and then, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone sort of thing. So, but it wasn't chicken tenders how you think of chicken tenders. It was fried chicken, like not even really what you would get at a restaurant as much as like maybe like homemade fried chicken.
Well, they do call it natural chicken.
Yeah.
So yeah, the flavors weren't there.
It was fried chicken, but it wasn't like super greasy fried chicken.
Right.
Which I will say, which I like that. But again, it was lacking quite a bit of flavor. It was
I agree with
under-flavored chicken. Our daughter kind of ate it a little bit. She didn't care for it that much. She ate a few pieces of it. I ended up finishing it off. And then our son basically ate the fries, which the fries were fine. I mean, they were kind of like steak and shake fries, I would say. Kind of small cut fries there. That was $9.95 for that dish there.
At least it was less than 10.
This is true. And then because of that, I was like, okay. So I was trying to look at I was curious about the portion sizes, and I asked our waitress, okay, I didn't really wasn't in the mood for pizza. I was like, what's something that's got a lot of food or a lot of meat? And she was like, the turkey stack or the turkey sandwich actually has quite a bit. I was like, okay, fine, I'll go with that. I wasn't starving, but I was like, okay, I'll go with that. So I got what they call it the turkey stack. So it's Havarti. I can say words. I think.
Okay.
I can't sometimes. Havarti, lettuce, and tomato. I asked for no tomato because I hate tomato. Bacon, 9-grain bread, and then fries. So I gave my fries basically to our son as well because he'll eat those. This had a lot of turkey, I will say. It was a very, very thick turkey sandwich. It was very good. I was when I saw the 9-grain bread, and sometimes I'm like, ugh, sometimes that can be really dry. As turkey sandwiches go, at a restaurant, this was one of the better ones I've had.
Okay.
I mean, it didn't have cheese. It did have cheese. It had Swiss cheese on it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, there's not a lot to say. The only thing I did ask for was I like mayonnaise, so I asked for a side of mayonnaise just to put a little bit on there. But the Havarti was really good with it because they kind of gave a little bit of a spice to it. It was a pretty decent portion size. It was $17.95, which for a turkey sandwich, again, it's kind of pricey, but
not for Disney prices.
Right. It just kind of depends how you look at it, but it was really good. I was actually pretty surprised by it. You even tried a bite of it.
Tons of turkey.
Yeah.
Tons.
So I felt like it was a pretty good, at least you're getting a big portion size. I thought it was, again, it's a turkey sandwich. So, I mean, it's not the most insane thing ever, but it fit into the restaurant, light and airy, very got the 9-grain bread and all that stuff like that. But I thought it was really good. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then in lieu of a dessert, we went and we went to the cookie bar. So when you first walk in here, you go to the left and they have a separate area we can get cookies and coffee. And it's kind of unique. I don't know if I've seen a restaurant really do this. I mean, I guess that honestly, the closest thing I could think of, and I don't know, this again just struck me, was the Chocolate Emporium over at Universal, how they have the restaurant and then they have where you go get your milkshakes to the left. So it's kind of a similar thing where it's a separate thing inside of it because this is all, you make your cookie purchases outside of your ticket for your meal.
Right.
So that's easier. But
just FYI, if they do get long enough lines for the cookie bar, they have it roped off outside. So you could come to a situation where if this place gets big enough, gets more busy, that you could start a line outside of the restaurant to get into the cookie bar.
Yes.
So just FYI, it could get long lines. But yeah, cookies, coffee, they have blondies, they have Rice Krispie treats, they have brownies, they have specialty kind of cookies. Like our daughter got a snowman sugar cookie that was already wrapped up. So I know that's a specialty thing for this time of year.
You could also get shirts and coffee mugs and
they had some
sunglasses.
merchandise right next to it.
Yeah, so you could get all that stuff in there if you wanted to do that. And they also had little seating over there as well, so you could technically get it and sit down and enjoy it there by the window.
Yep. And then what kind of cookie did you get?
I think they call it a birthday cake cookie. It was basically I think it was honestly like a sugar cookie with sprinkles.
How was it?
It was pretty solid. So you think of cookies and everyone knows about Gideon's. I would put these closer to a crumble cookie, probably. It's definitely not a Gideon's in terms of cookie type, but they are very big. I thought it was good. I didn't think it wasn't the best cookie I've ever had, but I thought it was definitely above average. It was soft. It wasn't gooey in the middle, but it wasn't hard. It was soft. The consistency was good, and it was very big. And these were big. About $4.95 each, so cheaper than Gideon's.
Yes,
and I would say they're not as thick as Gideon's, but they're bigger, wider wise. So I guess that's I don't know how that breaks down. But what did you get? I
got the lemon cookie, and I was very happy with my purchase because that cookie was very, very good.
Yeah, I know you liked it a lot.
First of all, I love lemon flavored desserts, so I'm all about it. I like lemon blondies, lemon bars, all that. So I was very, very happy with it. Did I think it was worth $5? Maybe. I mean, it was a big cookie to take me a while to finish it.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it. And the thing I like about this cookie bar, and I don't know if anybody's going to agree with me out there, but I like it simple. I think for me, Gideon's, I like Gideon's. I like the coffee cake cookie at Gideon's, but I don't care for the chocolate chip cookie one. Too many chocolate chips.
Yeah.
Too much stuff inside.
I agree. Well,
Yeah.
and it's not worth the weight either.
Right. And this cookie bar is more simple, I guess. At least some of the cookies. There are some cookies that are a little bit more extravagant, I guess. For example, let's see. You've got a fudge bomb. You've got a brown butter Rice Krispie treat. You've got vegan snickerdoodle, by the way, if you want a vegan cookie. They've got gluten-free chocolate chip. They've got a double chocolate cloud, oatmeal scotchy, birthday cake, M&M, apple oatmeal, which I almost got. So, I mean, you've got some interesting flavors to choose from. And I think that, like, if you are a fan of Gideon's, you're like, I want to go get Gideon's, but the line is just too long, or you can't get in the virtual queue or whatever, this is an excellent option.
Yeah, almost if you wanted to be like a backup maybe or something like that. Again, it depends on how you view Gideon's. I like like we said, I like Gideon's. I just don't think it's anywhere near the typical weight in terms of like, to me, anything over 5 minutes for a cookie, I'm good. I'm not going to wait 3 hours for a cookie, even though it is good. And I do like their coffee, but I do want to go back here and try, I want to try a chocolate chip cookie because that's kind of how I judge all cookies. Like, how's your chocolate chip cookies?
That sea salt chocolate chip one looks good.
And I almost did it, and I was kind of like, it was kind of frantic, and I was trying to find, I was trying to help our daughter do something at the same time. So I saw that when I just got it, but I really wish I would have got a chocolate chip cookie, but then maybe also try like a coffee thing because I'm curious how their coffee is. But yeah, so we got that. I mean, again, I don't know. I think the pricing here is it's not bad on anything. It's just, it's maybe a little bit higher than a normal average maybe, but maybe I'm off on that. It's just my initial reaction to it.
Yeah.
But no, the cookie was good.
Yeah.
It took me, I ate mine, I split it and had one part of it that day and part of it the next day because it was, again, pretty big. So yeah, a coffee bar, it's cool, it's unique. You can get, unless it's really backed up, you could get in and out of there pretty quick.
Yeah.
Other elements of the restaurant, I did like how they did the water. So they have Yeti coolers set up.
Oh, that's right.
All over the restaurant. So they bring out it's like a big plastic. It's not even a pitcher. It's almost like
it's a glass, isn't it?
Yeah, it's almost like a what do they call those things back in the day? It was like in college, everyone had one.
In college?
No, the plastic drink containers. Everybody would have one. That Nalgene bottle. Remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Kind of like that. They would put it on your table, so they would get them out of, and they would just leave it there. So they would bring them out of Yeti coolers. So it's almost like, again, you're at a summer house. That's I kind of, which,
A lot of greens around there.
Yeah.
And we did sit under the iconic yes sign. Remember that sign that was right above us?
It's iconic?
Apparently it is iconic.
Oh.
Yes.
You
go there, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Are you just supposed to say yes to everything?
Yes.
Remember the Jim Carrey movie where he was supposed to say yes to everything?
Yes, man. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
I do remember that.
Let's
rank this.
Yeah, I was going to say, so what did you think overall? Do you want to separate it out, coffee or the cookie bar and the restaurant, or however you want to do it?
I'll lump them all together.
Okay.
So I would give this. I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Okay.
So 7.5 is mostly for the vibes and the cookie bar. Again, my dish wasn't the best. Like I said, it wasn't enough food and the flavors and everything. So I want to go back here and try something different, specifically brunch, and reevaluate. And maybe I'll find something better that I like next time. But yeah, for right now, I'll say 7.5. And I will return. I will go back. And maybe we can sit outside next time.
Yeah. I loved the atmosphere and like the vibe of the place. I really enjoyed it a lot. I have zero complaint. In fact, I wish more restaurants kind of had this. I really liked it. I'm not really exactly sure as to why, if it's nostalgia or remembering certain things, but like that a lot. Food, I'm along with you. My portion size was okay, but I wasn't blown away by the food. I do want to try this place for brunch. It screams to me like a brunch place. So in the coffee bar, I say coffee bar, I guess it is a cookie bar. I like that. I think that's a cool little thing to have there. So I would probably put it. I'm along similar to you, 7.5, 8, somewhere in that range. I like it. I would like to go back here, maybe just for some drinks to sit at the bar, and definitely try brunch.
Yeah,
I think this would be a great place to just have. You want to have lunch with a friend or hang out and just it's kind of a casual ish place. You can kind of do that. So I liked it, and like I said, the turkey sandwich was good. Maybe try some other things, but I definitely almost feel like the ancillary things around it, the cookies, the drinks, some of the other stuff, I think maybe where that place would shine a bit more. I enjoyed it a lot. I think it has a lot of potential, and I'm curious as to how this goes in popularity as time goes on, but I feel like it fits well. My only really complaint about it is it's more lake adjacent than on it, but that's a small thing, but all in all, I enjoyed it. And honestly, with kids too, it was fine. There was the tables had plenty of space, and there were families in there. But I would probably say it's the crowd of this probably isn't going to be, or isn't necessarily like targeted toward families or kids necessarily. But there's no issue with having kids in there, because I know sometimes people ask that question.
Well, just real quick, they do have quite a few options for kids on the menu. They've got grilled cheese, turkey meatballs, quesadilla, pizza, cheeseburger, mac and cheese, chicken fingers. Then you can also do scrambled eggs and breakfast for dinner on the brunch menu. So quite a few items. So I feel like it's kid friendly for sure.
And honestly, if you ordered that kids chicken or chicken tenders, that would have been enough chicken to fill you up. So honestly, if you wanted a kind of I don't know if it's a hack, but you could order the kids version of things. And that would probably be enough to fill up most people. So if you're looking more to go lighter and not want to spend as much money, that's something you might look at. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I would definitely go back here, and I'd like to try some other things here and see how their drinks are and stuff like that. So,
yes.
So all right. And if anybody has any questions about this, you can always email us at hello@ctm.show or hit us up on social media or in the Facebook group. So social media wise, at Captain Magic on Instagram would be the best one there. So. All right, Jamie does have a poll time, though.
Poll time. All right, for my last question for poll time this week, I said, would you rather have, and here are the choices, 5 park days without park hopper option, so just base tickets, one park only per day, or 3 park days with park hopper option. And this is assuming that there is no 2 p.m. park hopping restriction in place, because that is going away in a few weeks. So that's just assuming that. 85% of them, everybody that participated in the poll, it said 5 park days without park hopper. And so 15% said 3 park days with park hopper. So I don't know if that shocked me. I feel like most people would rather have more park days than less and just be like, I don't have to go back to that park again.
That's what I was kind of figuring. Yeah, I think most people just have more park days versus...
See, I never did that as a kid. We always had hoppers, and we would hop either like at least once or twice a day. Every
but you're
time
asking the question, basically, would people rather have more park days or less park days? So I think they probably would rather have 5 park days with park hopper, but if you had to choose, they would just take non-park hopper with just more park days.
Yeah, I guess it depends on how often you've been there. Like if you have your go-tos, you're like, oh, I can just do a couple rides that I want to do and then hop over.
Yeah.
I guess it'd be different. But a lot of people are saying like when they go with their kids, when they go with their families, then not having the park hopper option is not a big deal because it's such a hassle to hop sometimes when you have either a big group or young children. Like it could be a hassle. And
herding cats comes to mind.
Herding cats. So I definitely agree with that. So that was interesting to see, and I'm not like I was shocked, but I thought it would be a little bit more even, I guess. I don't know.
Well, they showed you.
They did show me. So all right. Well, thank you everybody for participating in the poll this week. I will have a new poll in a couple weeks. 2
in
weeks.
2024.
In 2024.
Yes. And if you want to be part of the next poll in 2024, you can do that in a couple of ways. You can follow us over on Instagram at Cap the Magic, where Jamie posts those in the stories, and over in the Capture the Magic Facebook community, where Jamie posts those just polls over there in the group. So
Just polls.
And I think we're also going to look at renaming the Facebook group, like not call it Capture the Magic Facebook community, call it something else. Not the word community. I don't know. If anybody has any ideas, let us know either in the group or on social media or email us. So.
Okay. Yeah.
I think
We have talked about that. We just can't figure out what we
Well,
wanna
I
do.
have some ideas and you didn't really care for it.
Maybe that was it. Yeah, I don't have a good idea though. Like a good option.
I was just going to say call it the lounge.
Capture the Magic Lounge.
I don't know. No, just the lounge.
Oh,
I'm just kidding.
I don't know if that would work.
Hey, whatever. Anyways, but yes, that's where you can catch those, and that's where she posts the poll time. So there you go.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's get to our sort of retrospective on 2023 here and talk about our favorite things or top news stories. What are we going to talk about for 2023?
Okay.
So there's no like particular order about these. We're just gonna kind of go through these as they were written down. So what's the first one on our list?
Top thing, parking fees for guests at Disney-owned hotels were lifted.
And that was a shock. I was very shocked because typically with companies, once something becomes a revenue stream, rarely will see that be pulled back. So there must have been a lot of negative feedback from that.
I believe there was.
And probably causing a lot of internal issues for Disney. But yeah, that was one of the first things they did of the year, which that was always a nice perk with Disney hotels was you didn't have the resort fees and you didn't have to worry about parking. So having that where you don't have to worry about the parking again is a nice perk.
Well, I think it affected a lot of annual pass holders that were parking at the resorts when they were staying there and then going to the parks. Because if you're an annual pass holder, you get to park at the parks for free. And so usually if you're local or you're close by, drive your car, you're the ones that get hit with the parking fee.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So not that if you're not local, you wouldn't drive a car, but yeah, it's much better now. And you don't have to spend, up to $25 a night just to park your car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's very, very true. That'll save you. If you're staying a week, that could save you hundreds for sure.
Plus it puts you, if you look at the off-property hotels, that a lot of them will charge for parking.
Yeah. Well, and that's one thing that Disney did that was always a nice thing. Again, you didn't have to, we've railed about this before, but it's like when you see a hotel say like, oh, it's $125 a night. And then you look at the fine print, it's like a $35 resort fee and then a $25 parking fee. And then your night's closer to $200 something a night. They just want to be able to advertise that lower rate. And the nice thing about Disney was the fact that whatever the rate was that you were paying, that was other than tax, that was it.
Yeah.
So I like the simplicity of that, and I'm glad that's back. I'm still shocked they did that because again, you rarely see that. But yeah, so that was the first one. That was a nice one as well. But number 2 here, or the next one, I'm not really ranking it here, would be Tron Light Cycle Run opened up in April.
Yeah, I've rode this a couple times. You've rode it once.
Mm-hmm.
It's very good addition to Magic Kingdom. Glad to have another roller coaster option. I'm curious to know how long it will be in virtual queue mode. I don't know if it's going to be to where Cosmic Rewind, Guardians of the Galaxy roller coaster, if they'll have a virtual queue as long as it has had, because it's very popular. So I'm curious to see how that will go. But yeah, I wish it was a little longer.
Very short. I still have questions about how that fits in Magic Kingdom and Tomorrowland, but it's there.
It is there,
and it's fine. It's kind of being received kind of how I thought it might be, which is like when something new opens up, it's like the brand new thing, and then it's kind of slowly like, yeah, that's there. Like some people really like it, and a lot of people are like, especially Magic Kingdom, but kids like our daughter won't ride it. A lot of kids don't want to ride it, so it's one of those things, but it did open, and it's a new ride, so it's there.
It is new. Finally.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. What's the next one?
The next one is annual passes went on sale again. Yep.
They did, and it's weird to think about how they were not on sale for a period of time. And
just to remind you, they went on sale again September 2021, and then they sold a bunch, and then they halted sales November of 2021, and then you couldn't buy an annual pass unless you were you were a Florida resident, and it was the Pixie Pass. That was the only thing they were selling for a year and a half. So from November 2021 to April of 2023, that was the only option. So there were a lot of frustrated people out there that would like to have bought an annual pass. And so they finally opened that back up back in April. And I mean, it's still open as of right now.
They're not gonna stop that again.
No,
like it was one of those things where I think it was all just to try and drum up this artificial demand in a way.
Maybe.
I think it was most of that. Disney has never done that before in their history. And I think it was one of those things that sort of backfired because then they got into a situation where like, oh, we need more people coming to the parks. Yeah, you guys can buy those things you wanted for a while. So I definitely think it was a short-sighted move. It's a move like, again, Disney has the market share and they can do it. But again, things like this sometimes don't pan out really well. And I think they ended up regretting doing that. And I would be surprised if they do it again because you haven't heard any inkling of them hinting at it or anything like that, especially with increased competition. I'd be a little surprised if they did it again. So
yeah,
we will. This may be like one of those things like, remember whenever that you couldn't buy them? Like, oh,
right.
Yeah, sort of thing. But
yes.
So, all right. Next one we have is the Moana Journey of Water, opened in October over in Epcot.
That's the new water feature attraction. That's a walkthrough over in Epcot, and it is it's nice to have that there, and it's a new thing in Epcot, which is great. It's kind of relaxing, and it's good for the kids. Like to play in it, it's cute. I don't have any complaints about it, except for the fact that like. I don't know, like it doesn't belong in Epcot. That's my only thing. That's my only thing about it.
I don't have any complaints about it. It shouldn't be here.
No, like it's placement in the park. That's my only thing.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think it's the attraction itself. I have no issue with.
Right.
I think it's fine for what it is. I just literally, if you were to show somebody this attraction, you go, "What do you think about this?" And you're like, "Oh, that's cool. Like, where is it?" And you're like, "Epcot." You're like, where? Like in the center, like kind of like off, near Nemo. You're like, okay. Like to me, if that person would guess where they would be, they would have said like Animal Kingdom. And to me, it would fit perfectly in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
I do agree. I think the location of this is a little questionable, but the attraction in of itself, I think is fine. And again, very kid centric, and it's got a lot of cool water features, and especially on a hot day, it's not a bad thing to walk through.
Yep.
So
for sure.
That is open as well. And speaking of things that are open at Epcot, the World Celebration Gardens opened up just recently, and the Walt the Dreamer statue is there as well.
Yeah, so that was nice. That happened on December 5th, and it's basically the middle section that's right behind Spaceship Earth, and it's some seating. There's some, again, gardens. There's some greenery and everything. And then the Walt statue, which sits kind of, it's kind of backed up against Spaceship Earth, kind of.
A little bit, yeah.
It's very different now from when it was before. So it's hard to take my brain away from what it used to look like and what it looks like now. So it's very exciting to be able to walk through the middle of it, have more places to sit. It's kind of a chill. I would say it's more of a like relaxing place. Like, oh, I need to go somewhere and I need to just want to sit, just want to like listen to the music, just want to watch the Spaceship Earth show, whichever one it is. There's lighting on the ground. It's nice to have open, like for sure. And of course the statue is nice to have too. So.
Yeah, we haven't got to talk about it on the show yet because we just went there last weekend to see this. So I think overall, my thoughts are sort of similar. It's nice that it's open, to walk around everything now.
For sure.
I think we'll do an episode on this one day or talk about it later on, but it's like when you look at all the things that were originally going to be part of this area and see what they scaled back on, it's quite a bit. But I agree. It's very open. Now the lighting effects and stuff, I think, are especially in the evening. I think this place shines the most at night with the lights and everything synced up, and it's cool. It's got a lot of effects there. I do have questions about how much. There's a lot of seating,
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I'm going to say is I don't know how that's going to play off in like the summer, especially when it's hot. I don't think you're going to have a lot of people that are just going to set in these open areas because I imagine there's not a lot of shade over there.
There's not a lot of shade.
That sun is going to bake you back there.
Yeah.
So I imagine maybe they end up putting some coverings over there.
I think they will.
Because right now it's great. I mean, you go
Yeah.
to the parks and it's 60-ish degrees. It's not bad. In the evening time, it's nice and cool. But yeah, when it gets really hot, that's in those tables. They seem very to be a little toasty when you touch them. But
A heat conductor.
a little bit. But yeah, and I love the Walt statue. Given anytime they want to put Walt in the parks, I'm always a big fan of that.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I will say, the statue's kind of odd in that it's like awkward to take like the way you sit on that is kind of weird.
Oh,
It's a small thing, but I like the statue a lot. And the photo op there is really good. I would definitely say get your picture before it gets dark because I feel like the lighting comes from an up angle at you.
it does come.
It almost has that like scary movie, like hello,
Yeah.
like you're trying to
But
scare people. But
don't get a picture at 12 o'clock, like right when the sun's at the very tallest, because it's gonna wash you out.
I mean, I say that about all
So-
pictures though. But agreed.
But like 4 o'clock to 6 o'clock.
I would say either early, first thing in the morning, or more toward the evening for
Yeah.
sure. But
Yeah.
it's a cool photo op, and again, it's that's a life size. I think it's life size. It's supposed to be exactly
Is
his
it?
size. I believe so. It's nice that things are opening up with that, and it is a cool area. So
Yep.
there we go. All right, what's the next one?
Along with the opening of the World Celebration Gardens, on the same day, we got the new fireworks show over at Epcot, Luminous, the Symphony of Us.
Yes, and we got to see this as well. So we saw this in the live stream when it first debuted, and we saw this in person at the same night. We saw the Walt statue and everything like that. Having seen the live stream and then seen it in person, I like the show. I think the weakest point of it is the music for me personally. And I talked about it a little bit last time. I was like, I'm not big on covers. So I feel like if you had the original versions of some of these songs, it would have made a better impact. And what was the main song called? It was supposed to be like the
Symphony. I can't remember what it's called,
anyway,
but the other one was Heart. Something about
Yeah.
Heart.
So the main version or the main song of this show, it's okay. It's kind of how I felt about what was the Enchantment. The main song for Enchantment was one I kind of likened to like it's like AI wrote it, so it's got all the beats of like Happily Ever After, but it just doesn't have that like you can tell that the song's trying to have these like big moments. You're just sort of like, oh, okay, kind of how I felt about this. But it's a good show, and I think I liked Harmonious, but Harmonious did have points of where you had better viewing spots at certain places. So it wasn't really a show that no matter where you were at in World Showcase, you could get the same viewpoint of this. I think this is more of wherever you're at in World Showcase, you can still see it pretty well. I mean, there's some spots that are better than others, but I think all in all, it's a fine show, especially given that Epcot, I don't think it necessarily has to be like a Happily Ever After type of show.
I agree with that. I liked it. I think I liked it a little more than you did. I think the music, I didn't have a problem with the music, the original songs.
Mm-hmm.
The first original song was okay, but the one about the heart, which I can't remember what the title was, but I just know it had a heart in it. That one I connected with more. And fun fact, my sister's friend, he actually composed this with another person. And they did it very quickly.
Well, and
quickly.
We talked a few weeks ago. Apparently, the music for this, I guess whoever got it back, and they did not like it, and they redid it. So, because I asked your sister, and she's like, "Yeah, they seem to had to do it pretty quick." So it's like that falls into what we were hearing about that. I guess the only thing I would say, again, I liked it. I just for me, cover music isn't really the thing I enjoy that much. Ergo, I don't really like cover bands very much. But I feel like there's a lot of narration to it as well. A lot of talking, which you don't have as much in some of the other shows. But I mean, as a fireworks show goes, I thought it was good. Yeah. So very, very. Where would you put the last few? You got Luminous here. You had a Harmonious, then we had Epcot Forever. Which one was your favorite out of those? Three?
Harmonious.
I agree.
Hands down.
Although Epcot Forever, I feel like was a really good fireworks show.
It was okay.
but the music and attached to it wasn't as good.
Okay.
That's kind of how I feel about it. But yeah, I liked Harmonious a lot. And this definitely does have elements of Harmonious in it. They do like some of the water features and the lights and things like that. So it definitely has some of those elements in there with it. So
yeah.
But all right, next one here we have that. Well, there's a lot of restaurants that opened up this year.
Yep. We have Woody's Roundup Barbecue, Summer House on the Lake, which you already talked about. Eat, which is over in Disney Springs. It's like a casual restaurant. Shikisai, this is Sushi Izakaya, which is over in Japan Pavilion in Epcot. And then Trails Inn and Crockett's Tavern over at Fort Wilderness open as well. And I may be forgetting one or two in there, but those are the big ones, I think. Yeah, I mean, it's always nice when a new restaurant opens. And, obviously we just talked about Summer House and we've had Woody's Roundup Barbecue. I would like to try Eat. I know you really don't care for Indian.
It's not my
food.
thing typically. I mean, I'll try it, but it's not the thing I enjoy very much personally.
But Trails Inn and Crockett's Tavern, if we ever get to stay at Fort Wilderness, we would definitely check those out. And Japanese, I love Japanese food, so maybe that's in my future. We'll see.
Potentially, yes. Yeah, I have nothing else to add.
Okay, you're not a food person, I know.
No. Let's not slander me here. I love food. I'm just saying, like, we've already done a Woody's barbecue review. We talked about Summer House on the Lake. We don't do a lot of food reviews simply because we have small kids.
Yeah, we do.
Makes it a little bit more difficult to go to restaurants a lot of times. And that's, so. All right, next one we have is the Hatbox Ghost was recently added to Haunted Mansion in November.
Yes, we haven't seen this yet, but we know where it is. And we had actually just saw the movie Haunted Mansion that came out in July. And, it fits. Like it looks just like the movie version, I think. But yeah, it's a cool effect. And, it's nice to have it back after all these years of it being gone.
Yeah, I imagine they wanted this earlier. I have a feeling they would have liked this to appear around the movie release, but it's nice to have it. And again, the Haunted Mansion movie, actually, I enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. Especially compared to some of the other stuff that's been, that Disney has released in recent memory. I thought it was actually pretty decent. So
yeah, I think it was cursed by when it came out.
The timing of it
came out right after Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Yeah, and it was just weird. Like it was before they didn't wait long enough because I think they wanted a Halloween thing to be on Disney Plus, maybe, but like it was too soon. For not that Haunted Mansion is necessarily Halloween, but it definitely fits that vibe. I feel like it was almost too soon because it was like late summer, and the timing of it wasn't the best. But again, I thought it was a good movie, enjoyable. So, all right, the next one we have here is what, Jamie?
The Happily Ever After returns to Magic Kingdom after the 50th celebration ended. So we said goodbye to Enchantment and hello again to Happily Ever After, which is the best fireworks show ever.
Like at Disney or just in the history of fireworks shows?
I don't know if the history. I mean, it's pretty darn good. It's definitely better than Enchantment, I will say. Yeah, I mean, I think this is a good instance of Disney listening to what people wanted and did it, so. Yeah. So, I mean, if you've never seen it, I highly encourage you watch it. You will cry. Well, maybe you won't cry. You might cry.
I've never cried at it, but
you're Jared. You don't cry at fireworks show.
Listen, during the show, I haven't seen just gobs of people weeping at it. So I mean, I'm sure some have, but it's a fine show.
It is good. It's a great show.
Okay.
All right,
fine. Yes, it's a better show than Enchantment, and this may be one where, we've seen with Disney where they just kind of keep fireworks shows for long periods of time. Sometimes Illuminations stayed for 20 plus years. So. I don't know. And until people get tired of it, I think just be like, yeah, just let it go. Not like Elsa. I didn't mean it that way. Sorry. I just meant let it run.
Right.
All that stuff. But all right. And the last one on our list here is the Figment meet and greet came back.
Yeah. So this one, I don't know if this is a big deal to you, Jared, but I feel like this was one of those things that a lot of Disney people were very excited for because Figment's like a beloved character for a lot of like diehard Disney fans. And this is one of those things that it's like a unique meet and greet character, you know, because it's like, how are they going to do it? Because is it plastic? Is it furry? And then, you know, we end up getting what we got. And so, I mean, I think it was a great addition. I think it was.
He trips a lot.
Yeah, he does. He did fall a couple times. I remember that.
Well, listen, the lore of Figment is he's very clumsy.
Very clumsy.
Yes, no, I'm not going to act like that. You've been around the Disney realm longer than I have. I understand that he is very, some people really, really like him. I don't care for his ride, him as a character, though. I mean, I like anything that has a figment of imagination. That's a great thing. But, yeah, so, I mean, I really think Disney doing more meet and greet stuff is easy wins for them.
Yeah.
It's like more of this stuff of like, if people have a beloved character and they want to see, like, do a meet and greet in terms of, versus you have that or you have build new attractions. In lieu of doing attractions, I think more meet and greets is an easy win for people who already want to come to the parks. Mm-hmm. So I think more of that stuff they should do.
Yeah.
Personally speaking.
He's located in ImageWorks, which is the exit of Journey into Imagination ride. So appropriate place for him.
Which is the best part of that ride. Is its exit.
Okay.
There's tons of stuff for kids to do. There's meet and greets back there. I've said that for a long time. Even before that, I'm like, the best part of the Figment's ride is the exit because that's where most kids have the most fun, I think.
Yeah. Okay. And just to add another meet and greet to this last one, I guess you can talk about Mirabelle. Mirabelle meets a Magic Kingdom now, so that was pretty cool too. So yeah. So I just say meet and greets in general, but those two were one of the biggest ones. So.
Yeah. That is true. So, all right. Well, that's our list of the top things of 2023 to kind of talk about, and that's our show for today.
What do you think is the first one, the number one out of all the ones we talked about? What would you rank as the top one?
Like in terms of importance, or just like to me personally?
Impact to most guests.
Impact to most guests. Probably World Celebration Gardens opening, I would say, because if you're going to Epcot, you're actually going to be, you'll be able to walk through there and see that. So probably that one, I would say.
I would say that one too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was going to say annual passes going on sale would be up there for a lot of people.
But that's not majority of the people coming to Disney. So, I mean, like,
right.
it is,
yeah.
But.
So I would say, the one that would probably the most people would interact with or like enjoy more would probably be World Celebration Gardens opening up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So
I think that's our number
one.
we
agree.
Yay.
Huzzah.
Hello.
We did that. You say hello?
Hello. Yeah. Say hello.
I didn't know who you were saying hi to. Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Well, that'll do it for the show for today and for 2023. So I hope everybody has a Merry Christmas.
Absolutely.
And a Happy New Year. And enjoy if you have time off, enjoy it. Spend time with your family. Have fun. Mm-hmm. Be merry. Be jolly.
And if you want to catch up on episodes you missed throughout the year, you may always do that on wherever you listen to podcasts, and leave a review if you haven't already.
That'd be great. Yeah, I always think it's funny that we'll meet some people. Will come up to us and be like, I started listening to the show and I went back and listened, and I've listened to you guys like 2 times a day every day for like 3 months. I'm like, that's a lot of us.
So
like
much. So much us.
I can't say how that will affect you mentally. I'm sorry. Not enough studies have been done. So, but we very much appreciate you guys, and it's been a really fun year. And doing this is, I can't say years ago I would have thought I'd be doing any sort of podcast, but
same.
It's a joy to do this and a lot of fun. And very thankful for everybody that listens. And if you're in Club 32 or if you're not in Club 32, just if you listen to us for 5 minutes, we appreciate it.
It's a cathartic experience for me, at least.
Well, it's a lot. Yeah. I mean, you've been into Disney stuff your whole life. Mm-hmm. And, we're definitely, we do Disney. Now we're doing Universal stuff and, delving more into like general theme park things. So it's a lot of fun, and it's, we're definitely looking forward to growing and continuing to expand and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, just want to say thank you to everybody. Very thankful and grateful for you. And we're only going to be off for 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks.
And, that'll be it. It'll be fine. Yep. But we probably between now and then, there will be another video on the YouTube channel.
Okay.
So you can always check out there. And then, and if you're in Club 32, there'll probably be some extra stuff, maybe some live stream here and there during the break and hanging out and everything like that. So